So again, just to recap here, the models that said that 2.2 million Americans would die, those are false and funded by Bill. The PCR tests are falsely calibrated and recommended by Bill. The 100% effective treatments are being withheld as a result of the Centers for Disease Control recommendations, which is funded by Bill. Oh, just maybe you see a pattern. I don't know, a pattern. We'll see. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is here to share why now is the time to share the gospel around the world. He's a graduate from Reawaken Bible College, who's originally from Norway, land of the socialists. His father's name is Thor, his grandmother's name is Helga, and yet he is not a Viking. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand to your feet and greet the founders of Safari Mission, the Ligard family. Hey now.
Thank you, Clay. Thank all of you. That is correct. I am the son of Thor. This is the original. And Marvel tried to do a good job in copying. So once in a while we have lightning strikes at the home. And when our 3-year-old starts with the lightning, we just call her Helga, which is my grandmother's name. So Viking blood in the family. Graduate of Reawaken Bible Training College. There's a booth out there. If you want to know more about them, go out there and check them out. Phenomenal Bible college. Lots of great life skills training at that college. My wife, Catherine, and I, what we do is we are the founders of SafariMission.org. We work predominantly in East Africa, and we train leaders. We raise them up to become leaders in raising up their own society. Very similar to what we're doing here today, we are inspiring people to take local action where we are. Get involved with politics, get involved with school boards, get involved and be a positive image in businesses where we are employees and that kind of a thing. When the good people start doing something, that's when we will win. And that is what we train people over in East Africa to do as well. We've got a short little video I'd like to show you so that you can see with your own eyes instead of me trying to paint all the stories for you. So if we can roll that video, you can see some of the work that's going on overseas.
All across Africa, there has been extensive evangelism. Christianity is a mile wide, but it is only an inch deep.
Governments, nonprofits, and missionaries have all brought foreign aid into the continent. But what happens once they leave? People in Africa have become so dependent on aid from outside that they can't survive on their own.
The people really were poor. They could not even give tithe. They could not give offering.
Our mission is not to just provide the needy with food and resources. Our mission is to train leaders and transform people to become independent and to thrive in their own communities.
We are Vidar and Catherine Ligard. We are the founders of Safari Mission. It all started when I visited Kenya with a friend of mine on a missions trip. While in Kenya, I saw there was a huge need. The pastors were trying their best to teach, but they had no formal training or anyone to look up to. That's when I felt I was supposed to do something about that. I was supposed to take the training to them, out there in the villages, and help leaders who could not afford to come to the cities. That's how we started. Today, we train leaders in both rural areas and the cities.
Have you ever wondered why African countries remain poor in spite of billions of dollars in foreign aid and thousands of nonprofit organizations giving humanitarian aid? Because change comes from within. Feeding people who are poor only helps that one time. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a sore when the whole leg is broken. Empowering people with knowledge and training them to deal with their broken systems, that is the solution for Africa.
That is exactly what SafariMission.org does. We train leaders and transform people to go and build their own communities. Safari Mission is dealing with the real issue, and that is exactly what Africa needs. Many leaders all over Kenya are impacting their communities after being trained. Pastor Kaloki from Bipingo in Kenya is just one example of a leader we empowered. He is turning his poor community around by applying practical principles to his Bible training. So many people in his congregation are coming out of poverty and living better lives.
But since we began to teach them about the prosperity and the principles of the Word of God, and shown them the way they should invest. Right now, those who obeyed the Word, and they have taken their position. Right now, there is great change. Even in this community, I can see the results because we have many businesses in our community who are running by the people from our church. And I still continue to teach people, and these teachings are empowering the people.
Many people are looking for work to support overseas, but often wonder if the organization will be effective in handling your money. You might be asking yourself, will my money really make an impact? At safarimission.org, we have seen people's lives being changed in 2006. We have proven that our methods work. We guarantee you that your money will make a difference and be used for a real ministry.
Like me, I say we want to wipe out the saying that in Africa, the gospel is miles wide but an inch deep, which is true. So we want it to be more deeper, not an inch deep, because it is just an inch deep because many people who are preaching or are teaching, they don't know what they are doing. They are just doing for the means to get earnings and whatever. But with this kind of teachings, I'm sure it will go deeper and people understand what they are supposed to do.
Because of teaching these people the same, they are doing very well, even in their businesses, in the government offices. And so that simple example in Mwingi, I see if that can take place in the whole land of Kenya, it can really affect this community and the whole land of Kenya, because it is not only about spiritual matters, it's also about practical things. These teachings are very much important in Kenya because they are helping us even to know ourselves, to know our rights, and even how to reach people. I was an overseer of less than 20 churches, and today the churches have grown to over 100. So the teachings are really very practical. They are helping people. They are affecting even one's personal life. You know, when your life is because when your life is done, when something affects your life, you can also affect the lives of other people.
What the church needs is people to know the word, not big buildings or whatever. They will come, by the way, but let them have the knowledge first. When they get the knowledge first, they will know even how to build them old houses and whatever. But when there is nothing here, you can even give millions of money, they will just misuse them and they will not help the people. So the knowledge first.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yes, at safarimission.org, we do not dump resources. We train them on a right mindset. You know, poverty is not the lack of money. Poverty is a mindset that produces lack of money. And if you can change the mindset, then you have fixed the poverty problem. And so this is the way we work all over Africa. One of these stories you saw in this film, one is very close to the Somali border, dangerous area, but the same principles work everywhere. If you can train the people, 3 things: we help them to know Christ. Secondly, we help them with discipleship. We help them with character building. Thirdly, we help them with entrepreneurship principles. There's only 2 ways to get jobs. You need either entrepreneurs or you need a government entity to provide employment. The latter half is called socialism. We don't implement that. We create entrepreneurs. They start businesses, they start churches, they help their own poor. So we don't go in and start orphanages. We train the locals on how to take care of their own poor using the correct mindset and get them out of the hole that they are in. The one story there, this pastor started a very, very poor community. You think you need orphanages, hospitals, all kinds of different things that are needed. But he takes the principles, starts in half of a mud hut. That's all he had the money to rent. Today, the church is a large church. That church has spun all kinds of businesses. There's retail shops. There are schools. There's all kinds of institutions that have been created in this poor village as a result of the right mindset. Today, he has a problem. When he needs a volunteer, he can't get one because everybody's busy doing something else, helping their own community. And he started with all unemployable people, training them on the right mindset. We have done this for 15 years in East Africa and Kenya. We are now moving into the eastern part of the Congo, which is one of the hardest places in all of Africa. But we know the way you chase away darkness is you turn on the light. You give people the truth. When you give people the truth, then they understand how they're supposed to live. Christ first, entrepreneurship, and society starts being built like that, just like you and I are supposed to be involved in our own communities here.
You cannot change a country without changing people's hearts and minds. And that's what we're doing in East Africa. We're changing people's hearts and their mindset. And that is exactly the same way America needs to be changed again. It will come through people who has their hearts and their minds changed. And for all you pastors out here or listening, you have a major influence in how that's going to take place. Are you going to speak truth in your congregation, teach the truth so that people can see the light, see the truth that is in the Bible? You have that power of influence in your community, all over this nation, just like we are also changing people's lives over in East Africa.
So, great, thank you. We have 9 training centers in Kenya. All those training centers are self-sufficient because we believe in living by the same principles that we teach other people. But at the same point, I am asking for your help because we are going into the Congo and you need startup capital to start these training centers. So at safarimission.org, there is a website. There's a lot of different stories, a lot more information. All our finances are transparent, it's open. You can see exactly what the annual reports and all this, where the money is going. So go to safarimission.org. And you can also stop out at the table out here. I'd love to talk to you. I'll be out there with my hammer. And we just behave and lightning won't strike. We'll be all right. But I'd love to talk to you there. I just came back from Nairobi, and I haven't been able to go there for 17 months. But the graduates from our program, I heard story after story of a church building project, a business that is flourishing. Because when you get the faith of Christ into people, and you get the boldness into people, people become resourceful. Whatever the situation is, they will start to find the resources, and they're building businesses, they're building churches. We met some that are helping orphans with correct principles of how to get these people out of poverty. It's happening all over Kenya, but now I'm asking for your help to go into even harder areas and darker areas, because even there, when you turn on the light, the darkness will flee and people will start building those institutions in that country. So, safarimission.org and the table out here. God bless you all. Thank you for coming and be a part of something good.
All right, one more time, folks. Let's hear it for the Ligard family.